Hello again, everyone. We're now joined by the general manager and by the head coach of the Edmonton Elks, Hervey and Mark Kilam. To ask a question, please use the raise hand function to be added to the queue. Please mute your microphone until I indicate it is your turn to ask that question. And please, we ask you to limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. The first question is from Morley Scott. Please go ahead, Morley. We can't hear you, Morley.
Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. This is for Ed. Ed, can you talk about going into the combine and what you look for in players and what you want to see maybe in person compared to on video, and how much what you see this weekend can change what your list may look like going into the draft?
I think when we're going into this draft, and like any draft, right, we want to kind of see if what we see on film is verified by what we see on the field. That the actual movements, the actual players being able to kind of talk to us, the interview process. There's very little time as far as interviews are concerned to really get to know the player, but it at least kind of confirms some of the background that our scouts were able to obtain. And then from there, it gives us a chance to kind of roll through the process of really getting to know these guys. As far as on-field is concerned, we want to see who the best athletes are. I think that kind of goes without saying. We're not going into the process with a specific position in mind. We're looking to see who the best players are. And then once this process is over, Mark, myself, the personnel staff, and coaching staff will have a chance to kind of talk through everything and then realistically look at, what the best options are for our football team moving forward.
You don't have a first-round pick this year. Does that change the approach heading into the draft? And are you in any way looking to recoup that first-round pick?
No, it doesn't change the process going in, because we still have to get to know the players. With respect to the first round, anything is possible. We don't know where this process will take us. We don't know where the next few days and next couple of weeks will take us. There may be opportunities to move up. Those discussions have not happened as of yet, and obviously, if there's an opportunity to make a pitch to get into the first round, we will discuss that amongst ourselves. And then again, that's why the process is so important to us, to know who the players are from top to bottom, and not look at not having a first round pick as a disadvantage, but look at just getting to know the players as the advantage for us.
And one more, just overall from your experience in the crops you've seen over the years, is this a strong crop, a medium crop? Is it below other years? Or do we need to wait 5 or 6 years to find out?
Yeah, more of that. We get to ask that question all the time, right? As far as talent level is concerned and potential, we feel it's just as strong as any other draft, right? And then what we'll find is that some years you'll hear that, oh, it's a down year. And then you look back 4 or 5 years and you find out that there was 8 to 10 starters out of that group, some mid-round talent that came in and contributed and had long careers. So I think it's too early to say what level of players we're going to get, but we do feel that the talent level of this group is on par with what we've seen in the past.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Morley. Next question is from Justin Dunk. Please go ahead, Justin.
This could be for both of you. Is this the best Canadian university quarterback class that you've seen in your time in the CFL, or potentially CFL draft history? I'll start with you, Ed.
I mean, again, right, it's when you're talking about the quarterback talent, I think that it is one group that we've seen that has a little bit more talent than we've seen in the past, that of guys that are going to potentially get an opportunity. Obviously, there's, a young man that's getting some NFL looks. So, but I always wait to see what guys do when they actually get to the next level. I think that for me has always been the fair assessment of a player. But I mean, I can't disagree with you that as far as talent and potential, it is there.
Yeah, it's exciting for the Canadian kids, though. It's exciting for the Canadian kids. It's a credit to those guys and the development of the Canadian athlete coming out that those guys are representing like that.
Does having a Canadian quarterback incentivize the Elks to draft the Canadian backup?
I mean, I think when we discussed the draft and we discussed what the the possibilities of drafting a quarterback is really it's going to fall into who the best player is for us, right? It does not exclude us from drafting a quarterback, but us too early in our process to know whether or not we would do that. But to your point, Justin, based on the talent that's there, anything's possible. We're in a position where we can make that choice and feel quite good about it if we were to do that.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you, Justin. Next question's from JC Habit. Please go ahead, JC.
Hey guys, this one's for Ed. Now that the dust has settled on the announced salary cap increase, where does your budget stand in terms of whether you plan to spend to the ceiling of that new cap, or has it changed at all?
I mean, I've never gone over the cap, so realistically, nothing changes as far as how we plan to spend. What our numbers are, or what they will be. A lot of that is determined on how the season goes, as we all know, those of us who've managed it. But with respect to the dust settling and everything, nothing really changed for us because, we weren't going in with the intent of going over. We weren't going in with the intent of projecting $200,000-$300,000 over the cap. We were going in with the expectation that we were going to be, on par or just a little bit under, and we were going to see where those numbers took us as we got through training camp.
So has your budget changed at all then? Because it sounds like your previous aim point is now, closer to the cap floor than the ceiling with the increase.
No, I think our numbers are going to be just as, competitive as they've been, right? Regardless of what has happened in the last few months or last month or so. There's more opportunity. We'll put it that way. There's more opportunity for us to still working on our roster. So I can't give you a definitive answer on where we're going to be and what we plan to do. But if there's opportunity to make our team better, we have no question in our minds that we will make all efforts to improve our football team and give us a chance to be successful.
Excellent. Thanks, Ed. I'll circle back after.
Thank you, JC. Next question is from a reporter from Global Edmonton. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, it's Slav here. Just got a question. Either one of you can answer this one, or both of you perhaps. I'm just wondering, in your view, do you feel like the Combine is run the best it can be in terms of your ability to evaluate the athletes? I guess what I mean by that is I've heard from people in the basketball world and hockey world who feel like their combines maybe could be improved. Like I've heard people in the hockey world say that they don't really care how much a guy can bench press, for example, which they do at the Combine. Do you feel like the way the CFL Combine is run gives you the best opportunity to evaluate athletes? And if not, are there things you would change about it in terms of, getting guys to do more on-field stuff, for example, to really get a good idea of what they are as players?
First of all, I think the CFL does a great job of giving us access and giving these athletes an opportunity to show their best side and increase, raise or lower their draft stock. I mean, I think every year the CFL evaluates and gets input from coaches and personnel people on how things can be done better, and every year tries to improve upon what was done the previous year. I really enjoy the Combine. I think that not only do you get the face-to-face, the interviews that Ed was speaking about, but you get to see athletes in a football atmosphere, take information from a meeting room onto the field. You get to see them, what their body language is like after a good or bad rep. Are they taking coaching? Are they, how do they interact with the guys that they're competing with? I think those are all things that are ultra valuable, and I want to give the CFL credit on the way that they run their Combine.
Yeah, I would agree that obviously all the drills and everything that we get that we come here for, we feel satisfied at the end of the Combine with. And if we were to make changes or needed to make changes, the CFL has shown tremendous flexibility over the years to make adjustments for us. And we have meetings going into Combines, for the future years where we have a chance to debrief, talk about the things, and make tweaks. And I think that the CFL does an excellent job in doing that, and I don't think they get enough credit for putting on an excellent show for us to get the evaluations that are required for our draft process and moving forward.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next question is from Justin Dunk. Please go ahead, Justin.
Ed, this is for you. I don't know if you're going to go on another rant, but I'm here for it if you want to. Gino Lewis said after he signed with the Red Blacks that, according to him at least, you did not talk to him throughout the entire free agent process. Is that true, and how do you view how that played out?
I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm going to answer you quickly as I possibly can. I spoke to his agent, and that was it. I was focused on the guys that we wanted in Edmonton. That's it. That's it. He plays for another team. He should be happy being somewhere else, and that's it. I don't think that I need to make any more comments about Gino Lewis and whether I talk to him or not. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if I were in his shoes, I'd move on. That's what I've done.
Yeah, Gino, had some pointed comments saying like he didn't feel like it was smart and that he's a superstar player. Can you give us some insight into the thought process of not wanting him in Edmonton?
I don't know any superstar players in the CFL.
Can you give us any insight into what you said earlier in your first answer about not wanting him there in Edmonton?
I just said I wanted the players that we wanted, we have. I mean, that's really it. If you're trying to spark this up and we want to make this into something, I mean, we sure can, but I don't feel like I want to go down that road. I woke up on the right side of the bed today, so I'm in quite a good mood. So to be honest with you, Justin, the reality is this, is that he's playing for a team that really, really wanted him, and we're a team that wanted to go in a different direction. We had other pressing needs, and that's really it. I got to be honest with you. I don't even know why this is even growing or has grown into anything. I don't know him. I haven't talked to him, and quite honestly, don't plan to talk to him. I'm quite happy with what we're doing in Edmonton, and looking at what we've done with our roster and the guys that we have moving, going forward. I feel quite comfortable with the guys that we have, and I feel if guys feel they're a superstar, fantastic. I'm just not really into whether guys, their personal feelings about themselves. That's not where I go. That's not the road I go down. I just feel really good about what we're doing in Edmonton and the players that we have.
Yeah, I just wanted to balance it out because he had some comments publicly and give you an opportunity to speak on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a politician, and you know me over the years, the guys who are on here that do know me, like, comments don't, sticks and stones, that stuff doesn't get right. Like I was raised on just moving forward and look ahead. You don't really listen to the loud voices that are out there. You just kind of press forward, right? My feelings don't get hurt. Mine don't get hurt. So, talk to him.
The last time we were talking to you about him, it did seem like if he came down, there was potentially a chance for him to come back. And I think he signed for, in and around $230,000 with Ottawa. Was there any number that he would have came back, or you just decided to allocate those resources elsewhere?
I mean, looking at who we were able to bring in, there's not a player on that in our list that we would want to move on from. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't want to drag you into this, but I think when we looked at our roster, there's not a player that I'm looking at thinking like, man, I wish we went the other direction.
Gotcha. A couple more. Who would be your number one receiver right now, would you say, going into training camp?
That's the beauty. That is the beauty of going in. That's Mark's question, and Jordan Maximic. That's the reality, right? Is that there's opportunities in Edmonton, right? There's opportunities for all the young guys, right? Dunbar, Keon Julian Grant, Curly Giddens. There are opportunities for guys to emerge, and what is a number one for our team is going to be the guys that are just going to go out there and work hard, and we feel good about that group. As far as anyone else that's not there, I mean, I would leave that, to Mark and the coaching staff to resolve and find out who's ready to emerge and to take that next step for us.
looking at the depth chart for you guys, you can start well over 7 Canadians. Was that part of your plan going into free agency? And could you start, I mean, like 10 plus Canadians? It seems that way based on the guys you signed.
Yeah, I think when Mark and I were talking, we were talking about going into this with ratio flexibility. We wanted to strengthen our national talent pool. We wanted to give ourselves the best chance that we can at being able to have play Americans in different spots. You know, when you look at our offensive line, I think that was an area that we felt like we wanted to make sure that we were able to, in the event of, I think that's kind of the strategy behind it. But looking at the talented national players that we recruited and were able to sign, again, this is the Canadian Football League. And the teams with the best Canadians give themselves the best chance to have success. And Mark and I talked about it at length, and we felt like we need these players, or we need to have this kind of team, and we feel fortunate that those players gave us a chance by coming here. To have that flexibility is good. Where it takes us, that we have the rest of the season to see. But we have a foundation that allows us the flexibility to play an American in some places. And I, when I look at it, I look at that interior guard play as an area that makes the most sense if we're going to look at where an American could make an impact in the event that we were to maneuver our roster a little bit.
Thanks for the insight, and I hope you still feel like you woke up on the right side of the bed.
Yeah. I still do.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Justin. Last questions from JC Abbott. JC, please be quick and no follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll pose this to both of you guys real quick. Mark, you're as proud a Canadian as it comes. Ed, you're an American who's adopted this country. For maybe the first time in CFL history, there are legitimate tensions between those two countries. I wonder, do you have any concerns about that in the locker room, and how do you plan to address those things?
I'll just say this. I feel like we have recruited and tried to bring in the best character players, whether Canadian and American, that we could find to come into our locker room. I also believe that I have the best leader of men and his coaching staff to be able to handle any situations like that. That is not, for me, a situation that I'm even remotely concerned with, because everyone that's coming in, we have a much taller task ahead of us with our football team. Our commitment is to giving our fans the opportunity to see a competitive football team that's pushing to make the postseason and beyond. We're pushing great character. We can't get caught up in stuff that's happening. And I don't have any problems with the Canadians. I know the Canadians don't have any problems with me. It's just, we just need to focus on what we can control and really know that, this stuff will pass. And as far as our football team is concerned, our focus is about being together and being kind to one another. And that's what we preach in the building. And we believe that that's going to resonate throughout our organization. And hopefully it resonates throughout, across both borders.
Anything to add, Mark?
No, I pretty much hit on it.
Excellent.
Thank
you, guys.
Thank you, JC.